Well, hello. It's time for Mutants and Masterminds Monday. It's your weekly program all about Mutants and Masterminds, the world's only superhero TTRPG. I defy you to prove me wrong. Look in chat. Who do we have here? Chat, can you hear me? At Quintic, you can do something mean to yourself.
Quintic, we were early the last 2 weeks in a row.
That's right.
No, not an inch of gratitude. Let's see. Are they really villains if they are helping you, says Jeremiah? Good question.
Depends on what they're helping you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. My
They're
thought
helping
was
you be your worst self.
right. Yeah, my thought was if if they're nice to you, but they're eating all the babies. I mean,
Right. I think that we could still safely call them villains. Yeah.
I think so. Warden Maximus is here. Hey, Devious, good to see you, friend. Tempo, newly promoted to moderator, I see in the chat.
Oh, congratulations.
Congrats, Tempo. You've earned it. Just by hanging around. Speaking of hanging around, Mondays wouldn't be Mondays if we weren't hanging around with these two. Hello, friends. How are you?
I think App Quintic is negging us.
I know,
right?
I know he is. You're lucky I'm not near Texas, sir, or I would give you such a...
I think you're lucky you're not near Texas.
I think all of us are lucky, except for App Quintic. You deserve it. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Pook says, in the server, I advertised the show as tonight's topic, villains as allies and maybe lovers.
Ooh.
That's one of the scenarios, potentially.
It's a good move.
Spicy.
Yeah, real spicy. Listen, I have a type. Hey, what can you do?
Right?
What can you do? What I can't do is remember that I want to call out the person that gives us these subjects because they come up in I would say quarterly little gathering, a little confab that we have where everyone gets together and they share ideas with us about things that they would like us to do. This particular topic, our old pal SC Terran Marine.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So thank you, SC Terran. And you get, hey, King Snarf, good to see you. You get a real life hero point that we are going to ship to you. It is heavy and it requires a lot of space. And don't feed it after midnight.
Right.
Please do not throw it at your game master once you deploy it.
No, don't. No.
I will continue. That will be my PSA until Gen Con.
Do not bounce your hero points off of
Do
your
not throw hero points at your game master.
I like that. Let's see. No C here. No one deserves Texas. No. Well, all right. Maybe that was a little over the top. But we are talking about villains as allies. Now, I do like that we're saying allies.
Troy, I know that's the topic. I do want to propose, however, Sharks, if you'll just go with me for a moment.
My answer is yes, Alex. Wait, what?
What if we had an air hockey slide slot in the bottom of our game master screen so people could slide the hero points to us underneath?
Oh, I like that. Would there be some kind of bonus points for kind of getting it in the chute?
Yeah, but I mean, Alex, have you seen how hard some people will slam a puck into an air hockey goal?
Yeah,
but we can have a felt a puck catcher on the back.
Oh, I see. So there's a bumper on the back,
and it doubles as a dice tray.
This is getting a little more complicated.
We're onto something here.
I think we are. Yeah, let's start crafting a table.
Right.
I like that a lot. What is Nate writing here in large paragraph? I've tried to build. I've got a situation where a team of heroes that are brought together are from all different walks of life. Okay, that's
sure.
As it works, yeah. And it's because of that dynamic, they find themselves at odds at different points of the story based on the information they gather. Oh, I see. So they find themselves in complications with each other as they learn more or pull more details out. Okay. To finish a goal, but some of the goals are probably not as open to group mentality as they are to the individual. Well, that is the challenge when you're sitting around a table with a group. Just trying to find ways to plug in the whole the whole group. Yeah, very interesting. Sounds like a growing battle map. Quiet you. That's a little dig for the Thursday Age projects we're working on. But yeah, let's see. Oh, Barnard says, hey, True Dungeon uses that as part of Gen Con. It's not as easy as you think.
No?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't remember that, but you know,
That's
listen,
pretty cool, though.
we're all young and fresh and new. So we may not have seen that yet. I thought Alex was going to suggest an air hockey themed supervillain. Yes, air hockey goon. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that word again.
Least Wanted is coming.
Right.
Yeah.
I ran a
Okay.
game yesterday that featured a villain called the Paleontologist. He was an
Oh,
8-year-old with a magic pith helmet who could bring fossils back to life. And he was a friend to all dinosaurs.
Mhm.
that is funny.
What was his favorite dinosaur?
Ankylosaurus. He summoned 4 of those, and he woke
Mm.
up Sue the T-Rex's fossil because you need to have a T-Rex fight when you have dinosaurs show up in your game.
Yeah, that's kind of a must.
I don't make the rules. Steve
Right?
makes the
No.
rules.
Exactly.
Right. Time for the Doppler shift of evil theory. The Doppler shift of evil states that things have a tendency of appearing more evil as they approach you and less evil as they move away.
That's just Catwoman.
I agree. If they
Mhm.
move away from you fast enough, they can shift into appearing good.
Mm.
Okay, very interesting concept. I like that sort of, yeah, sort of like evil, kind of like that, right? Villains need to be a lesser evil than the main enemies. Well, let's talk about this. I mean, there's a
Sure.
lot of stuff going on in chat, and I want to remind everybody as you're watching this on demand, as I know you do, like the stream, like this video, and B, share it with your mother, and C, make sure you're checking out the live chat because there's lots of smart stuff and some, other
Mhm.
stuff. But generally, you'll find a smart thing or two in there. What are we talking about? So this is it's a well-worn trope, like the
Mhm.
enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of almost as maybe one
Right.
scenario. Someone mentioned romance, maybe you fall in love with a bad person, a villain.
Mhm.
Uh, what is the bigger piece here? What are when you see villains as allies? Have you written, or do we have Mutant Masterminds published work that is something like that? Villains working together with heroes to at
Hmm.
the same
Trying to
purpose.
think of a good example of that.
Medea plays a role like that in
Yeah,
Netherwar as
in
it's written.
Netherwar. That's true. That's true.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah, generally it's all about, conflict is all about the characters want something and something else is in their way and preventing them from getting that thing. And sometimes the villains, or at least some of them, and the heroes want the same thing.
Yeah.
And, the question is, are they going to cooperate, to overcome the thing that is getting in their way?
Right. And are they
Yeah.
being above board? Is there some
Mhm.
other ulterior motive? Which surely
Yeah.
not. Hey, drama dork. Let's see. Yeah, that is true. Sometimes the enemy of your enemy is another enemy that is less concerning.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah, there's
But
a lot of different situations that can lead to teaming up with the villain.
yeah,
I think one of the easiest ways to make that happen is to put both the hero and a villain in an impossible situation and force them to work together. Um,
Mhm.
I'm thinking kind of we've talked about the episode of Justice League where Superman gets sent to the future and has to work with Vandal Savage to get back to the past,
Yep.
and they're sort of forced to work together because there's no other alternative. And Vandal Savage has had a lot of his evil tendencies aged out of him in his old age.
Right.
Um, so that's sort of a less the moral question of do I team up with the villain, and more this is an interesting take on this character. We're seeing another side of them that maybe
yeah,
will flavor my interactions with them when I see them again in the future,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
also the past.
right. Of course. Well, there's also
Uh,
the notion too of you are in a position that you really don't have a choice. Like it's
right.
your
Mhm.
survival, or like I think that I've seen this. I'm not sure. I want to say I've seen it in Star Trek and a couple others, but where you're both in a prison of some sort, and
Mhm.
you got to
Mhm.
escape.
Yep.
Forcing you to work with your enemy. I like this too. The enemy. The enemy of my enemy is often still an expletive deleted. Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
agreed. I appreciate you not busting out our F budget. Yeah.
Our own Paul Rua points out that Remlock the Rover in Chrono Crisis is
Hmm.
certainly a ne'er-do-well that the characters end up working with, to one degree or another.
Well, no, is there a gradient of villainy? Like, could it just be someone? Because there's always this person annoys me, and I've got to work with them.
Mhm.
Chrono Crisis thing is a good example. Remlock is a time-traveling thief, who definitely does make a nuisance of himself. But we have, a primary villain who is busy unmaking the multiverse. And so, Remlock's, little thefts seem kind of insignificant compared to that.
Got
Yeah.
you.
A lot easier to get along with a time traveling thief than a time traveling warlord for some reason.
Right, it turns out.
Well, now King Surf is mentioning some. There's the Project
Mhm.
Freedom in the Super Team Handbook. Vortex from the Sentinels started out as a reluctant thief.
Yep.
I do like that too. That storyline, as I think this kind of is connected to what we were saying earlier, which is it could be you see another
Mhm.
facet of this villain,
Sure.
or understand that their villainy from their perspective is not quite as villainous as you maybe presume.
Well, and there are certainly plenty of reformed criminals
Yeah.
in the hero side of things who have been on the wrong side of the law, and now they're good guys. Oftentimes using their nefariously learned skills, to do the "it takes the thief to catch a thief" thing.
Yeah. Okay, so King Star brings so
Yep.
thank you, King Star, for the elite Raven.
Yep.
Is it Raven the Third or Raven 3?
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Formerly assassin, trained by the Murder League, but
Yeah.
as King Snarf points out, he was brainwashed from the time he was a child. So how responsible he was for that is pretty questionable.
Yeah, this is true. Drama Dork. That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking of Star Trek for sure.
Yep, the classic enemy mine scenario.
Yes, yeah.
When you're stranded on a planet and you're with your arch enemy and you have to cooperate.
Gosh, Steve, I love that movie so much. Enemy Mine.
I love scenes like that.
Yeah,
There's so many opportunities to finally sit down and have a conversation. I think that's one of the things I like most about that.
Well, yeah, exactly that, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just most of the time when you encounter your villain, you're in a conflict situation or you're trying to immediately stop them from doing something. But when you are forced to work together to survive in a hostile environment or to escape from a prison or to move through time or whatever, you have an opportunity where all of a sudden now we have a few minutes to just talk and you can unveil some other facets of the villain's personality or their motivation, or point out things that maybe the heroes can sympathize with.
That's actually one of the pillars of building a good villain in the Masterminds manual is the notion that you have to integrate the villain into the characters' lives in some way.
Yeah.
That's beyond just this guy we fight.
Right.
And it oftentimes is about creating those environments or situations where the characters can interact in some way other than, okay, let's fight.
Oh, you know what I'm reminded of? Rogue.
Yep, Rogue is a classic reformed villain character.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
And
it doesn't always have to be a life or death situation where this can happen. It can be something like everybody's in a social environment and we all have to play nice because this is a Elysium situation, or it's a public gala and the press are everywhere and now we're all dressed up and we have a chance to sneak a cagey dance together.
Right. Have that, sort of, villainous tango scenario.
Do we have a PP the mime? Sorry.
I think it's Pepe the mime.
I hope.
That's not how you spell Pepe.
Well,
is a homicidal Dexter type anti-hero and his best from the orphanage is now his best friend, I'll presume. from the
one
origins. And now
assumes.
his was his biggest foe, street urchin named Nom de Plume. Okay, I like it. It's a
All
real
right.
interesting name. And it all appears so non sequitur. Let's see. Heroes go to a reform villain to get info. Oh yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Well, I do like that concept. Or that's Gene. I do like that concept of there's many different axes to work how you're working with the bad guys. I mean, could you even? I could picture you being undercover and
Mm-hmm.
having to act
Mhm.
like they're your besties.
Yep. Yep. That's another great opportunity for the heroes to interact with the villains on a completely different level.
Yeah.
Is a scenario where some of them are undercover and have to pretend to be bad guys,
Oh yeah,
and they
yeah.
get to see a
Yeah.
completely different side of the villains that they've often have to
Ooh,
deal with.
hear me out. The whole
Yeah.
entire hero team has to go undercover together, and there's some sort of a mechanism or challenge, sort of sequence that
Hmm.
did you blow your cover? How
Right.
how is it? Yeah, how fun. That would be super, super fun. And just the fun you could have telling the stories from the like kind of pulling the Wizard of Oz kind of like Elphaba sort of, flip the
Hmm.
script a bit.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is villains as allies. That's actually the sister program, Heroes as hench people.
Hero. Yeah. Right.
I like it. Um, let's see. All right, we're bringing up Judas contract.
Yep.
For mine, the key element to this, says Paul Rua, sort of thinking is making sure. There we go. Is making sure the villains have actual motives instead of just
Yes.
being evil. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with
Indeed.
you.
I mean, it's always important to keep in mind that apart from the really cartoonish versions of evil, that the villains still think they are the heroes of their story.
Mhm.
They think their actions are perfectly reasonable and justified, and they have perfectly good reasons and justifications in their heads.
Yeah,
Yeah. And this
absolutely.
is another just little bit of villain advice to chuck on that is we think about their motivation, we think about what they want outside of general villainy, and then coming up with what they are willing to pay for that and what they want to pay for that in terms of resources. Like what their lowest offer is, like I want to break in here, steal this thing, and if heroes show up, I'll run away. Or
Hmm.
they're most willing to pay, like I'm willing to sacrifice all my minions to make this happen, or I'm willing to sacrifice my life to make this happen. Knowing those extremes can help come up with situations where the villains might be willing to team up with the heroes to win another day
Yep.
or to stop another villain from accomplishing their goals.
Yeah. Jeremiah McCoy points out the government, but really any common enemy is something that can make the heroes and villains allies. If aliens invade,
Yeah, visiting
or
space tribunal or
Earth, gets sucked into a hell dimension, or any other sort of threats to their continued existence. The villains are going to be on the side of continuing to exist for the most part.
I like this idea. Go undercover at Mook Training College, but like you
Yep.
kind of a 21 Jump Street theme,
Mhm.
Everybody's hello, fellow kids,
Right.
I like
Yeah.
it.
One thing I will say that we have to consider as RPG game masters that regular superhero storytellers don't have to contend with is the fact that if you have the villain tag along with your heroes, there's every possibility they will adopt the villain and not
Hmm.
let them go back to being antagonists in the story.
That's
And they
Right.
right.
will wind up as the maid of honor at your wedding, Mortis.
Yep. That is
Right,
true.
right.
I mean,
Having won the challenge of persuasion, now you have a new pal. Yeah.
and you have to consider just how sincere the villain's cooperation is. Are the villains cooperating out of necessity? And once that necessity is removed, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Um, are they even pretending to be the hero's allies simply to, trick them? Because that's one of those areas where you get to play on the fact that most player characters are fairly trusting, and are quick to do, oh well, now he's our new best friend,
Right, right, right,
um,
right.
and before you know it, he's looted your headquarters and you know
And is now
collected
your
all of your
boss.
secret files and disappeared.
And now runs your school for gifted children. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
You
hate to
know,
see that happen.
I
That's
do.
the version of the villain starts off as an ally of the group and then has been a villain the whole time and then breaks off in a dramatic moment.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I like this too, Jeremiah. And I think that it's a thread coming,
Mhm.
kind of throughout all of this is that adding some texture to the villain and, depth and some motivation that is legitimate, that can be, you can kind of go, I kind of get that. I understand why
Yeah.
they might feel that way. I think complications are one of the beautiful things about mutants and masterminds. And I think that this
Yes.
really, playing into that and allowing the players to, with their moral compass, determine and decide how they want to do a thing. I
Mhm.
think that's a lot more fun. So yeah.
Well, you also get, especially the more the heroes know the villains, you really get to the interesting situation of just how much the heroes want to take advantage of that. Because when the heroes know the villains' complications, their backstory, and their things they care about, it gets to be an interesting conundrum for the heroes of, am I going to exploit that
Yeah.
information?
Mhm.
If I know, this villain has, a kid they care about, and that part of their, ill-gotten gains goes to,
Paying for their
anonymously
school
support,
or yeah.
right, anonymously support this kid. Am I going to use that against them? You know, doesn't that, does that make me the bad guy in this situation? Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
I do like
Yeah.
that also just really interrogating, not in an aggressive way, but interrogating sort of the moral standing of the heroes. Like,
yeah,
it was earlier in the show, actually before we started, Jeremiah said, if they're doing something good, are they really villains? And to some, yes, and to others, maybe no. And maybe it's
sure.
depending on what their villainy is kind of made up of. But yeah,
Yeah.
love that.
Well, and it's a lot of it is, are they villains right now?
Mhm.
you
Yes,
know,
yeah.
and will they be villains tomorrow?
That's an interesting one too. If you like, if there was some timey wimey elements to it, if you know that someone's gonna be a villain, they as well be a villain today? I mean, yeah, it's all fun stuff. And what's awesome about it is that you don't have to answer the question; your players do, right?
Hmm.
You gotta put them
Yep.
in that situation. Paul Ruiz says in our Hero High game, I played Polyanarchy, an exchange student from the villain school who kept bringing up moments when the heroes in their school were being dodgy. So, oh, I get it.
Hmm.
I like that sort of
Sure.
calling them out on their
Sure.
hypocrisy. And
Oh,
Polly,
Magneto loves doing that.
oh,
Right.
absolutely, yeah, that's his
That's his favorite
shtick.
move.
If you're fighting against the law, are you a villain? If the law is unjust, yeah. I mean, if the law is made up of a bunch of villains,
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Flash's rogues keep getting brought up, and I do want to sort of engage with that
yeah,
idea where it's something you want to ask yourself in your setting when you're world building. Are villains, are they fun and campy and willing to, they have a villain bar and they all hang out and they have a code of honor, so that it's more likely for a hero to be willing to stomach working with them for something? Or is this a gritty street level game where everybody is awful and nobody would ever want to work with anybody ever, and
Hmm.
sort of dealing with setting up situations on either end of the spectrum?
Right. And
yeah,
and keeping in mind that both things could be true.
Yeah.
Where the blue collar villains who all hang out together are just like, that weirdo, like he's not allowed here, like he's crazy.
Oh
you
yeah.
know and that can also create an interesting situation where the more reasonable or decent villains, if you will, are like, like, oh yeah, like we'll help you out because that guy is giving us a bad name, and we don't want him coming around here.
right, right. Specifically when they're talking about PP the mime,
Right. PP the
yeah,
mime, very disturbing.
out of here, PP. Telling the villain, tell you what, I'll give you a head start just this once. That's a really good. That's a trope.
Hmm.
That's a
Hmm.
classic,
Yep.
Yep.
classic trope.
Yep. We'll overlook this one time.
I like that. The Flash seems luckier than Batman or Superman regarding their rogues gallery. Yeah,
Yeah, well, Flash is a lot chiller than both of them too. So
truth. Yeah, true.
Yep.
So are there any sorts of, pratfalls that the GM wants to avoid making in front of all their players? Are there things to worry about or be concerned about?
We sort of touched on it a little bit with the concept of the villain in the group betraying the group in the middle of the heist, which is very much a trope in these stories.
Sure.
But it is not so much a trope that feels good at the table. And I have found generally you get probably one really good betrayal against your player characters before they start never trusting anybody again. So you want to be really careful
you have to be
when you
careful about
deploy
that.
That's
I will say in that instance, you can also do the reverse of that trope, where the villain's betrayal takes the form of, I could kill you, but this time I'm just going to let it slide, and I'm just going to go. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. There is that trope of the villain that is supposed to extract a fee or give him a lump on the head or fight him or kill him or do something, and they say I'm going to pretend like I didn't see you. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking about Judas Contract and wondering, like, Taro would be a player character in that situation. What I can't imagine how that reveal would play in a real tabletop setting. I don't.
Yep.
It would
be
either
something.
be legendary or everybody would quit the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that you have to, without like telegraphing your entire plot, really feel out in session 0.
Now, is it Batroc the Leaper?
Batroc the Leaper,
The Leaper.
master of Savat.
Yeah. So an honorable villain. What other honorable villains are there, at least in our universe?
Oh gosh, so we have some honorable villains. I mean, honestly, Arctic Fox has some sense of honor to him.
Arctic Fox.
You said it before I did, Steve.
I mean,
this is the betrayal I've been waiting for.
Don't forget the rogue sent flowers to Elongated Man.
Yep. And you can definitely play around with villains who have a code of honor, who fancy themselves as knightly or gentlemanly or what have you, and have things that they're not going to do.
Okay, so they won't sink to a particular level, or they have some guardrails rather.
They believe in like having a fair fight. For example.
What is
conversely, it could be a situation like Selfie, who will always do what is guaranteed to be the most entertaining, which is a code of honor you can count on.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I kind of relate to that notion. Anything that's entertaining. So I'm wondering. So when it comes to that, what is how do you construct a villain with a code of ethics? Like what is the correlate? I'm trying to think of some. I mean, I don't know who Batroc is, but
it's often characters who are mercenaries, especially, who have a particular professional code, where they feel like something unprofessional or something that is going to tarnish their reputation is something that's not worthwhile.
Would Punisher fit into that category?
What's that?
I guess he's not really a villain.
I didn't
Punisher fit into that category.
Punisher doesn't really have. Punisher has a mission, not so much a code per se, in my opinion. And he's an odd case of villain as ally, to be sure. If you think murderous vigilante is a villain, and I generally tend to say that's the case.
Yeah.
Then you can end up with an odd situation where the heroes are working with a character like that.
So was Green Hornet and the Spirit, are they considered villains?
Well, they cultivated the reputation that they were criminals in order to infiltrate the criminal underworld. And so they were often hunted by the police, and they maintained that sort of sinister, mysterious reputation, so that nobody really quite knew what side they were on.
Got you. King Sarf mentions Magpie, Larceny Inc. And how do you say that?
Syzygy.
Syzygy
is the classic honorable alien gladiator type.
Got you.
Yeah. You can also count on bounty hunter villains to be a little easier to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not after you.
Oh, I see what you're
Um,
saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I have found a good way to demonstrate that a villain has a code is to pair them with some less professional minions, so that the villain gets the opportunity to admonish them, and say, "Nope, we don't do that." If I see that again, you're out.
Right,
Like
right.
you don't work for me anymore, or something worse is going to happen.
Grognard, finally, you've made it. Now that you're here, we can start the show. We've just been kind of shooting it.
I know. At last.
Yeah, finally. Deathstroke used to fall into this category, but then the '90s happened.
Yeah, well, the '90s were rough on us all.
They really were.
You
Yeah,
know,
I think the only
lots of
people that made out like bandits were
lots of codes of behavior got thrown out.
yeah, pockets on pants. I think is the only thing that came out of the '90s.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had to learn by bumping into. I had to learn to walk by bumping into walls and listening to my parents laugh at me. The '90s were terrible.
That's
God.
rough.
Too many pockets.
No, too bad at eyes.
Oh, yeah. I see. Let's see. Things that they will not do, like not turning on their country, sure, or assassin that won't
Sure.
shoot grandmothers and babies or something.
Yep. The absolute classic comic book example is there is no one worse than Nazis.
Yeah.
And so pretty much any other villain will be just like, but I'm not that bad. And if you guys want to take them out, I'll help.
Yeah, exactly. A perfect reason to unite with somebody who may be not necessarily morally aligned. Let's see. Do not turn on their allies before they do it first. Says Gene.
I think
sure.
actually, I just thought of an interesting opportunity from a role playing game perspective. There's always the classic: one of the heroes goes bad, and they turn to the villain to fill in that spot on the team to face off against the hero who's gone bad. And I think it would be fun as a player to play your own villain against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it is a great
really
opportunity.
So what would you devise as a kind of a mechanic to signal the back and forth? Like what would that look like?
I talked to the player and ahead of time, and I would ask, "Do you want to play one or both of the characters in? Like, do you want to control your main hero in combat, or do you want them to be a GM controlled situation
Mm-hmm.
while they're under the mind control or whatever's made them turn evil?"
Yeah.
And then give them a rundown of the villain's character sheet. It probably wouldn't be the full fledged character sheet. It would depend on the situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there
Yeah.
might be a slightly less powerful version of the villain because the other heroes have put some inhibitors on them, or
Right.
they're just by nature of becoming a protagonist, they become less powerful in the story because that's just how storytelling works.
Right. Yeah, I love that idea. I think it's I was also thinking too, you could, if that was the arrangement and everyone around the table agreed and it was all copacetic and everyone was looking forward to playing a villain and themselves, it could be really interesting to take care of your extra dimensional self that is the bad you.
Right.
Super fun. Let's see. I believe Captain Cold's rules for the rogues were something like no killing kids and no drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs
Stay in
aren't
school.
cool.
Stay in school.
Stay in school.
Yeah.
Villains that became good guys. Venom, Deadpool. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that is, just capitalism. But it's
exactly right.
wow, this character is hugely popular. We should, give them a redemption arc in their own book.
They're a good person now. Yeah. The vampire who joins the heroes to kill the master vampire. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Nazis or the like. The nature of the vampire makes
Yep.
them bad guys, but they're not more than just
As-
they are more than just their condition.
As Captain America said, I have occasionally known some good vampires. I have never known a good Nazi.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. Man versus natural disaster as allies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting real meta.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime, like I said, anytime that everyone's survival is threatened is usually one of those instances where the villains are willing to put aside everyone's differences.
Right. Right. Stop stealing those Hostess cakes or whatever, and and get to
Lex Luthor cannot be stopped. I will take all 40 cakes.
He really is just greedy with the cakes.
Right.
the Marvel Squadron Supreme. Is it Supreme?
Yep.
Yep, Squadron Supreme.
Yep.
Okay, got you. Supreme. The bad guys were Psionically.
Psionically reconditioned. So
That
the
was like
Squadron Supreme book, one of their super scientists
Very
basically
devious.
came up with a brainwashing device in order to, make criminals good,
I
which
see.
was just as morally dubious as it sounds,
Yeah, yeah.
and had all sorts of complications involved. But was an interesting situation of allying with former supervillains.
I like the psi power of psi-oceally. Like you're psychic or you have some sort of mental telepathy, but it's social
Hmm.
based.
Yeah.
And yeah, you make friends maybe. 40 cakes. That's terrible. One of my favorite villain heroes arcs is Black Adam. I've never
Mhm.
really followed Black Adam, and yeah, didn't Rock play Black Adam?
He did
He
in the
did.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. Psychosocial, sure, sure. Let's see what else we've got. There's the
Yeah, we had
Krakoan age. Yes.
a couple weeks ago at Buckeye Game Fest, the adventure I was running featured a villain as ally moment where the White Martians came to Earth and they attacked Stryker's Island in Metropolis, hoping to kill Lex Luthor, which led the Justice League to rescue Lex Luthor and then take him with them to figure out why are these aliens trying to kill you and what can you do to help us avoid this invasion, which was a
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah,
That was more villain as MacGuffin and
Yeah,
football to carry around than a full fledged ally.
sure.
I like that. Now I'm
Yeah, but
trying
it
to
was still
think
a
of.
fun thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
It was just a fun plot point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there are some extra creative. One of the things that I love to kind of challenge the Eminem community to think about and do is sort of take the trope and really spin it in some kind of interesting and new way. Chad, I'm curious from your perspective, what are some ideas that you had along the lines of, I think I had mentioned, players playing themselves and their evil, extra dimensional twin or something. Uh,
Hmm.
what are some novel ways that you may have seen or that you thought perhaps incorporating this trope into a storyline was done?
Well, one I think that you can play around with, it takes a little planning, is to have sort of an unexpected moment from an antagonist or a villain, where if the villain has a particular part of their background or their history, and something comes up, where something where the heroes reminds them of that, such as a hero nearly loses a loved one in a way that the villain did, or
Yeah,
comes to some sort of near tragedy that the villain experienced, at having the villain reach out in a way, and do something kind, towards the hero, to be like, like, I'm glad you avoided that, or, like, even actually helping to prevent it, in a way that's, you don't have to, what happened to me doesn't have to happen to you,
right, right. Or I don't
sort of
want
a
you to be done like
scenario,
this. Yeah, I have
right?
a better doing
That's
for you.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Can be a really interesting moment between the characters. And it can still be one of those cases where the villain's like, this does not mean we're friends. you
That's
know
right. Yeah, don't. Yeah, exactly. Don't
like,
call me.
right, don't get in my way.
Right, right.
But I have a line, and again, it's one of those, but this once, I'm making an exception.
Interesting. I wonder if this counts. I'm thinking of this storyline, and Steve, what you mentioned sort of sparked this notion of
Mm,
what if there was a villain actively working behind the scenes to help the heroes, but never made themselves known until the big
hmm.
reveal. Uh,
Yeah.
that could be a lot of fun too. Just to kind of uncover like who's doing these things that we can clearly see are beneficial to us, but we don't know who's doing it. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that can always be an interesting scenario of a villain needing a group of heroes to do something,
Mhm.
and being that sort of force behind the scenes that is going to put all of these challenges in their path in order to ensure that they come together to be the kind of group they need to be, you know.
Yeah.
And it gets that situation of like, well, yeah, I've kind of tormented you and made your lives incredibly difficult, but aren't you great now? Like, isn't that awesome?
Yes, look what I've done. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
look what I've achieved.
I've fixed you. Yeah, I
You
like
know,
the bank job is great, says Gene. Keysarf mentions speaking of
which,
White
by the
Martian,
way, is essentially Max Mars in Emerald City Nights.
Right.
everybody needs to read the John Miss Martian story in the recent Valentine's Day special,
Mm,
Supergirl Next
it
Door.
is. It's terrific.
Totes adorbs. Thank you for the recommendation.
Actually, that whole special is great. But
Yeah, let's see. I'm just going to throw out the best villainous ally in all of comics, James Robinson's version of The Shade in Starman.
yep, also a classic villain who has a code of honor.
Got
Mhm.
it. Let's see. Villain helps heroes take down villain organization only to take over the villain organization. Right. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Those are definitely twists that you can bake into the plot and have some fun with. And there are going to be people around the table that went, "I knew it."
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a
totally.
great episode / issue of Invincible where Titan approaches Invincible to ask him to help deal with a more powerful villain who's in the same organization, and plays on his heartstrings by showing him all the things that this much worse villain is doing uh, to the people of Chicago. And Invincible helps him out, and then at the end, Invincible gets beat to death, almost to death, and Titan takes over the organization,
Yep.
which is terrible, but also great plot.
Yeah, great plot, grist. Jeremiah
Yeah.
says you could
Yep.
also use ruthless. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's very a classic, again, sort of enemy of my enemy situation is the villain who sort of helps the heroes by pointing them at another villain, who is a rival, and helps them take that character down. But now they have one less, competition to deal with.
So, what do you think about the in this instance? Is it more fun or more rewarding or more just too much work to create a a fresh villain and not really lean into sort of for me in Smash Masters there are some key villains and
Hmm.
and favorites
Sure.
and that kind of thing. Uh, what are the pros and the cons of sort of creating a bespoke villain and or working with a template, not a template but a sort of
Hmm.
a known entity.
Well, I think it's a matter of relationships
Hmm.
largely,
Mhm.
but honestly, the good thing about it is that whether they're an established villain in a source book or your creation, they're still got to meet the heroes for the first time at some point, and you can start creating whatever relationship they're going to have, or in many cases, seeing what grows out of their interaction and what their
Yeah.
relationship turns into, which is one of the fun parts about running a game. Is you never know.
I like that. Oh, this is funny. In King Tut's tomb, the Riddler is motivated to help Batman because the killer is biting his gimmick by leaving cryptic clues to his crimes.
Nothing villains hate worse than an imitator taking their shtick.
Stealing my bits. I like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to yuck your yum, Riddler, but he is leaving clues, not riddles, behind. So you're good.
That's right.
Clue
That
Master
is
is the
right.
one who should have beef with this guy.
Right.
It's like 10,000 spoons, but all you need is a knife. Let's see. A couple years ago, Boomerang was Peter Parker's roommate. He rescued
Hmm.
Peter because he liked him. Oh, yeah, yeah, he liked him, not realizing that he was Spider-Man.
Yep.
That is again one of those moments where maybe the
Which
heroes don't know that they're a villain.
that is always the other great option, is that the hero and the villain know each other in their secret identities, and neither one of them knows about the other.
I like
Um,
that. That's
and
always fun.
that can get complicated, but potentially a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, sure could. Yeah, I could definitely see that, the whole well, we're on a date and this person keeps coming, and then the other person, like you go to the bathroom and then you just missed Superman, that kind of thing. I loved Private Detective Riddler. DC needs to go back to that. We'll send them a note. They take our calls. Let's see here. What else am I missing? I don't remember Stargirl as a show.
No,
it was good. It was
good. I could see how you might have missed it, but it was good.
Was it like a what channel was it on?
Oh gosh, it was a CW show, as I remember.
It sounds like a CW
in the latter days of the CW, and was very much small town. Big city. Girl moves to small town to be superhero scenario. Not knowing the small town is actually run pretty much entirely by supervillains.
Okay, so Tempo mentioned this.
You know what? What would be a fun Pinewood plot point?
What's that?
Yeah.
If a new group of heroes stops in Pinewood, and there's a retired villain who lives in the area who has noticed.
Yep.
Starts pointing the hero in the direction of what's going on, hoping they don't figure out who he is and disrupt his retirement, but he still wants the bad guy to go away.
Right? I like that.
You seem familiar. Have I seen you somewhere before? No, I'm sure not.
No,
I just have one of those faces.
Right. Yeah, they just kind of like that villain doing helpful things.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I recognize your voice. I was on the radio.
That's right. That's right. That's great. It was a CW show, okay, but didn't cross over with the rest of the Arrow.
Did not, no. But it was fun.
Now, Tempo has mentioned this a couple times, and we know that if we don't mention it, he will be stuck in that groove for the remainder of his time with us. Cohen Age for the X-Men shows, how pardoning and recruiting mutant villains doesn't turn out so well. Some, like Apocalypse, become better people, while others, like Sabretooth, remain evil.
Yep, that is true. Sometimes you give people a chance and they disappoint you.
Right, or exactly. They lower themselves to your expectations.
Yes, indeed.
What do you think about the Morlocks and Callisto and that whole?
Well, the Morlocks are an interesting sort of gray area, because although they were antagonists in some X-Men stories, they're not really villains.
Right.
They're outcasts.
Marginalized folks,
right, and have some understandable anger issues,
sure,
and trust issues for that matter, but I wouldn't exactly call them villains, and so that's certainly an interesting area you can play with in your game as well. Not every villain has to be a villain, or I should say, not every antagonist needs to be a villain. As far as that goes,
and then to find as heroes that you're at odds with something that is morally ambiguous from your side of the coin, I think is an interesting thing to play.
Yeah.
Well, let's see the gray area.
I think there's one GM basic thing that we need to keep in mind when we have villains on the team. If the villains are not being played by players, make sure that they don't overshine the players. Don't do DMPC-ness with them, even though they're really cool and you want this chance to show off.
Right. Well, that's how you end up with Venom and Deadpool.
Right.
The villain character is much more interesting than the heroes.
I do like the shades of gray, or just the notion that, as Jeremiah said, the Morlocks are outside of the law and could be considered, villains by some groups, but not the X-Men. What's interesting about that is Wolverine would have a very different opinion of Callisto than maybe Captain America.
Right. And admittedly, the X-Men probably would have had a more charitable view of the Morlocks had the first thing they did not been kidnap members of the X-Men.
Right.
Right.
Look, communication is hard. I'm not going to talk to them.
Right.
I'm reading that's very true. Kickstarter says, at one point in the 90s, Spider-Man had enough reformed villains that Silver Sable pulled them all into a team.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like Peter Parker, and I'm trying to think of other people, but Peter Parker also had just a penchant for attracting the bad girl.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Both Peter Parker and Bruce Wayne have a serious bad girls are their kryptonite.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Peter Parker should have wound up with Ursula, and I will never change my mind.
I thought it was Lady Goblin. Was that a thing? Is there a lady goblin?
There is actually, there was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a smart ass, and of course, Marvel has a lady goblin.
Yeah.
Probably the daughter of or something.
Oh gosh, no, no direct relationship as I remember, but very minor character.
Just a fan. To quote Skeletor, I don't like being nice. I like to be evil.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Skeletor,
And,
honestly, one of the classic villains.
and there is absolutely nothing wrong with having, a few unnuanced, really just bad villains.
Yeah,
But even they should have some motivation beyond just being bad.
just for the structure of it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to wrap your head around it. Gene, I'm with you
Yeah.
on
If they
this.
are going to be just bad, they need to be really cool. That's the
Yeah, they need to be
Yeah.
really cool.
I like that. I would love Black Cat. Just
Yes.
the power, the whole thing is just great. A lot of fun. Bad girls are every man's kryptonite. Well, hetero men anyway. Sure, maybe not.
Honestly, bad girls are a lot of gay men's kryptonite too,
Truth, very
Yeah.
true.
or at least messy white women.
We definitely we do love a messy white woman, we just love villains. I think is kind of
Mhm.
or so
Yes.
Disney has trained us to think. Let's see.
Yes, I was just going to say, Disney has just trained us to queer code all the bad people.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Any other thoughts that we are? I can't believe it. We are
Mhm.
we're nearing the end of the show. I love this. And of all of our topics, this is one that has really sparked a lot of, for me anyway, a lot of different stories to tell. A lot of fun
Mhm.
little snap in kind of like moments. Yeah. I want to. It's made me want to sit down and do some writing. Any thoughts from you guys as far as what do you do when you get super inspired by a subject like this? Do you just sort of put it in the mind vault and pull it out later, or do you get to writing, or what do you do?
Alex?
Well, today it's going to go in the mind vault, and then I'm going to go to sleep.
Right.
Right.
But it depends. If a topic's really, really exciting to me, I will sit down and noodle on some things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my notepad, my note cards of Eminem Doom, my MuMaMo Doom cards that I write stuff on
Right.
a semi-frequent basis.
I love that. Yeah, and the other, I was just thinking of this. We need to bring back bingo.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should. I think we'll do that. Steve, you about made me fall over laughing, saying the bad girls are guys.
Sometimes it's true.
Hey, it is. It is. Let's see what else we got here. Many villains aren't antagonistic because they're opposed to good. They have been forced into the position by society or social pressures. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a theme that's kind of come up throughout. Well,
Yes.
listen, we've got will we see any alternate archetypes in Freedom City Discord soon?
If you were referring to those things from the Kickstarter, Gene, no, you will not. um, keep in mind that the release of the Hero's Handbook isn't going to be until pretty much the end of this year, beginning of next year. So you will certainly be seeing some previews and some progress, but you're not going to be seeing any released finished products this soon.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
I've started converting the adventures, and I started writing the Titan City Gazetteer.
There you go.
nice,
See,
nice.
things
Awesome.
are in the
Well,
works.
so speaking of things in the works, what else is cooking? Why don't we start with you, Steve? What's going on in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe?
Well, folks on the Cape and Cowl Club can look forward to the next installment of the Primetime series on Wednesday, where we will be finishing up a look at revisions to the remaining members of the Freedom League and a little glance at some of the former or adjacent characters associated with the Freedom League. And I am working on my edit revisions for the Masterminds manual, and hoping to get revisions on that done so that I can turn that over for development and editing soon. And then it'll be moving on to, as Gene mentions, the other various projects for the Kickstarter.
Nice. Your plate is full. I also, Alex. I wanted to get both of your thoughts too before we close out on our Cape and Cow project. But first, Alex, tell us what your schedule looks like for the remainder of the week.
Well, Valiant is coming soon.
Mhm.
Grognard, I see your message in there. We are waiting on final layout for
Yep.
the PDF, so that's good news.
So close.
Steve and I have both done our proofread pass, so it should be imminent. Otherwise, I've got the season finale for Guardians of Haven this Wednesday. Then I will be taking a GMing break from weekly games for a little bit, and I will be moving into the player seat for our version of Chrono Crisis, where I'll be playing Arctic Fox. So
Awesome.
Nice.
Can't imagine that'll be bad.
Couldn't
And
possibly.
we
You
need
off
to
at Towers
reschedule the actual play
Oh yeah,
that
that's
we
right.
missed this Saturday. But other than that, things are good.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
an eye on the
no
DVD
Alpha
tape.
Hours tonight, right? You're gonna be
Mm-mm.
hitting the
So
hay.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, so and just as a quick little before you go, we had a great meeting with the Cape and Cal Club. We have our Friday project meeting once a month, and we talked about the big plan to sort of create some training materials and boot camps and things for GMs to train new GMs. And I'll tell you, I don't know if you knew this, gents, but a couple of our folks left and then wrote a whole script and got all into it. And so
That's exciting.
but you know who it was. But
I do.
yeah, I'm super excited about it. It was really fun to see people kind of snag their brain a bit, and looking forward to that. And for folks who are, for the uninitiated, the Cape and Cow Club is our membership club that you can join for $8 a month, and you get access to unprecedented access to these two gentlemen. Dev meetings, you get some special content, you get first look at games that are in development or games that are about to be released, or books rather that are about to be released. You get to participate in our project, all kinds of really cool stuff that gets cooler and cooler as we move forward. So you want to check that out. But gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate this.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah, always a pleasure. No matter how much villainy there is, I will always work with you two. I appreciate.
We'll stop all of it.
We'll
romance all of it.
You're our favorite villainous ally, Troy.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Have a great rest of your week, because now it's time to talk about what's in the tank. But before we do that, I want to encourage everybody to join the grad. The grad is I just knocked over a bunch of tiny gravy. What are they called? They're not latrines. No, what are they? Anyway, who cares about that? Yes, the grad. It's the Green Ronin Atomic Assembly Discord. It is the official Discord of Green Ronin. And you are invited. I'll be dropping the link here in chat. Unless someone's got it, you can do that now if you like. And let's take a look at this. March. Holy smokes, we are now on the 23rd of March. How can that possibly be? Wasn't it just Christmas? Look at that. So we've got lots of good stuff happening. You'll note on this particular calendar, there are little moments with a crown. Well, that's the Cape and Cow Club stuff. And they've got just a big packed schedule of fun. We've, of course, got Thursdays coming up, and that's going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about all kinds of good stuff, not the least of which is cartography. Super fun. After that, Get Tank with Troy. That's at 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays or after Thursday. Gravy holders? Yeah. What is that? Oh, you haven't heard? Okay, yeah, Grognard. You know what? Come see me on Thursday. Would you? Would you mind? Because because I'm simple and easily confused. You know who's not simple? Our friend Devious. Hello, buddy.
Howdy. How's it
How
going?
are you?
Living the dream. Yourself?
I feel like this is a dream. It's a nightmare.
Well, that is a type of dream. So
You're a little quiet.
Oh no.
I'm bumping you up just a bit. Now that might have done it. Let us know, chat.
Okay.
Because we want everyone to hear what's in the tank.
Well, what is in the tank this week, sir, is a number of articles. Both myself and Paul Rua have contributed quite a bit there. We have When Tangents Attack, The Life and Times of Doc Comet, and The Tremendous Trio. And look at that. Isn't that fabulous?
That's great.
Just very reminiscent of anyway, the story is basically
slow down a little bit to go back. I just want to see that teacher.
Oh, sure.
Like it, love it.
Yeah, basically she's kind of the elementary level teacher at a special group within Claremont Academy. Normally Claremont's like high school, but it's for younger kids. And Paul gives some ideas on how for adaptations and appropriations using a Doc Comment and the Tremendous Trio in your games and whatnot.
Fun.
There they are in their
Looking
original,
tremendous. Yep.
right? And that's the teacher in her younger phases there on the
I
left.
see.
Ah, yes, and Doc Comet himself.
Does he
Dun,
wear that
dun,
hat around all the
dun.
time?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. But also in there, he's done it again. Paul Rua has done it again.
Has
He
he?
has made a number of Hero Forge figures in Hero Forge. The links are complete, and these are all the folks, or
Look at
not all of them, but
Abracadabra. That's great.
right, he's got 12 total figures there, all from Threat Report. So if you want, a virtual miniature for your game, there you go. That
Paul Roy, you're so
perfectly.
cool.
He's amazing. What he can pull out of that system is just
Yeah,
top notch
he's
stuff.
he's a pixelmancer.
That's right, Pixelmancer.
Mhm.
I've written an article on the glass method, which is a method I use for preparing scenes. Basically, it is the gist, the location, the affordances, situation, and stakes. It's the things you want to get ready for a scene to help
The
propel the
affordances?
affordances are like handles
Yeah,
in a scene. Basically, there are things for players to grab onto.
I see.
If you have a big empty scene, there's not a lot for them to do. But if you, hey, you know what? This is going to be at a nice big theater. What's in a theater? Oh, a nice banister, a big staircase, chandelier. Somebody could swing from that.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there could be a display. Basically, just putting a couple of things in there that imaginative players can use. Like with the coffee in the last game we were in with Paul Rua. You know how
Oh,
they had
yes,
the
right.
invisible
To find the
character,
invisible character. Yeah, yeah.
and Paul, being a genius, basically grabs the coffee, throws it in that general direction.
Yeah.
So that's what gave away where the invisible character
I like
was.
that. Well, yeah, hear me out. Hear me out. The
Sure.
Colonel, who's a villain in the movie theater, and what he does is he stick those little things that get up in your gums when you eat, the husks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
the Colonel. I like it.
not at all. Yeah.
No?
Okay. Anyway, no. We also have PowerPoint advancement. A little thing I did about PowerPoint advancement, and also Paul did a trilogy of templates running event style stories part 1.
Nice.
Aegis Files. Crickets. Wait, what? Guys, give Chris Davies and Matt Mabry a break. Get in here and share your characters.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Wasn't it
nothing
Chris
in
that said that
there.
he might have some kidney stones, or maybe he's getting over them?
No, it's Matt Mabry who has the kidney stones, and he's
Yeah, Matt Mabry.
recovering.
Okay. Yeah.
And Chris Davies is just a workhorse. He's been popping in 10, 20 characters here and
Oh,
there. They need a break. So this is your time. If you want to showcase a character, we'd love to see them, especially like villains or heroes, vehicles, HQs, anything you got, bring
yeah.
it.
Do we want to encourage folks and provide Colonel? That's right. He's a real gum ruiner.
That's right.
Do we want to? I'm thinking out loud. I'm doing this freeform. What if we were to grant a real life hero point to the next person that wasn't Chris Davies and Matt Mabry? They get whatever they want. All they have to do is ask. They get it. The world is theirs. But
Well, why don't we take it from a random drawing of the next week? Whoever
Okay.
puts it in is entered for the drawing. We'll do a random drawing, and whoever gets it gets the Green Ronini and
yeah.
a PDF of their choice from the Green Ronin
I'm
store.
I'm thinking, yeah, for sure. But maybe a real life hero point, but that actually has something they can do. Like maybe they decide that they want to be on an episode of MuMaMo. Maybe they want to get a PDF of their choice. Maybe they want to do something interesting. I don't know. I think that there could be a lot of fun.
Maybe they want world peace, because I know you have that power. You're
I
just
do.
holding
I
out
do.
on us.
Only in the kitchen.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, world peas.
World peas.
Yeah.
World peas, nonetheless.
World peas.
That's right.
Or PP
All
the
right.
Time.
So you heard it here first, folks. Get your characters in Aegis files. We're going to take a random drawing of those who put their stuff in over the next week, and one of you will be chosen, the chosen one. Chosen randomly, but chosen still.
Chosen, yes, chosen, and then you're going to get that hero point that you can do something with. I like it.
That's right. Now, on to events. Of course, we just had the most recent MuMaMo. However, there was another thing that went down today. It was Brendan Brewer's PL4 podcast. It takes one to hunt one. His character reveal, that's in there today. It's a live stream. You can go to the
check it out. It's good.
Yeah, the forum. Check on the link. Basically, go check that out. We have upcoming The Guardians of Haven. It is their finale. What the deuce? The heroes managed to escape the dome of Wild West Starhaven in the hopes of stopping the train that wants to devour the town. Fitting that our story began and ended with a creature that wants to eat our party. Can our heroes pass the Axiom Stones test, or will they lose it all in the end? Tune in to find out. Thursday, dun, dun, dun. Thursday is the second episode of Graveyard Shift. Titan Z 1923, heroes split up to begin searching for the Codex.
What time is that happening on Thursday?
On Thursday, it is out in the morning, first thing. Remember, this is a recorded podcast, so basically that's when he gets it out for everybody so they can enjoy it then. And you can go check that out on Spotify. You just click on that sometime during the day. I'm sure probably after you wake up, you'll find it. Thursday, Birds of a Feather. This is where again Alex is a player playing Elvis Pexley. Birds of a Feather, don't get your feathers in a twist. And of course, Thursday, that right after Thursday, Office Hours with Troy.
That's right.
A great opportunity to connect with fellow tankers. And of course, the CNC for those in the Cape and Cow Club is the CNC workshop meeting this upcoming Friday. Next week, we do have on Monday another PL4 podcast coming out. It's character reveal number 3. The one today was character reveal number 2. This is number 3. Again, Brandon Brewer. And on next week's MuMaMo, we have Jobbers, a 4E updated archetype episode suggested by Jean Caron.
All right, Jean, you got a hero point coming your way. Gina has a big stack of them. I'm certain of it. And Grognard Piper, if you're still listening, this is about your transition from 3rd edition or maybe 2nd edition to 4th edition. If I'm right, thank you for reminding me. And thank you for the poke. Don't feel badly or like that we are in conflict if you're reminding me of a thing, because I forget many things and appreciate.
Pokey.
That's right. Okay. Well, my friend, it sounds like we've covered all of our bases, and
we done doed it.
What a great Monday it has been. We've done it, everybody. We've done it. Now it's time for Tuesday.
That's right.
All right. Well, then. Yes.
Don't forget, no, there are no office hours tonight for Alex. He's bushed. He's tired.
That's right.
He's going to get some well-deserved sleep tonight.
That's
Alex is taking a nap.
That's exactly right. And we appreciate when Alex takes care of himself.
That's right.
And now we're going to take care of ourselves by saying, hey, friends, we're done. And goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great rest of your week, everyone.
See you guys.